Good afternoon. An inquest has found a grandmother from Solihull who was deeply worried about government changes to housing benefit took her own life. 53-year-old Stephanie Bottrill, known to her family as Doreen, died after she was hit by a lorry on the M6 in May last year. Mrs Bottrill believed the reforms would mean she'd lose her home and, in a note to her family, blamed the government for her decision. Ben Sidwell reports.
This was the house in Solihull that Doreen Bottrill had brought her family up in, the place she called home, and ultimately the reason she took her own life. An inquest at Birmingham Coroner's Court today heard that Mrs Bottrill had caught her children in the early hours of the 3rd of May last year, saying she couldn't cope with the stress of being forced to move and wanted to end it all. The following morning she crossed the M6 between junctions 4A and 4 into the path of a lorry.
Doreen Bottrill visited her doctor on the day before she died on the request of her family. Today, the coroner read out a statement from the GP which said that Doreen had told him that she was happy to move to a smaller property and have her house go to a new family. But the way she was forced to make a decision in such a short space of time was too much to cope with.
The coroner's court was told today that the 52-year-old had attempted to take her own life in 2005 and that she'd left suicide notes for her family, talking of her anxiety and stress and blaming the government's changes to the housing benefit system.
Much has been written about, this bedroom tax pushing. Well, it wasn't, because prior to that she'd attempted suicide before and that hadn't been reported in the press. So, that might have been the catalyst to push her, but was it just an excuse that she was looking for?
The area coroner for Birmingham and Solihull, Savar Sadiq, said he was satisfied that Doreen Bottrill had intended to take her own life and recorded a verdict of suicide. Ben Sidwell, BBC Midlands Today, Birmingham.